How long are you going to be out here? You're supposed to be in my room. Well, at least I got to see you, little booger. Guess that answers that. So, of course, as soon as I started pulling everything out, the little girl got up from her bed and came in the room. And now she's attacking my brushes. No. No, little punk. Every night, too. She comes in every night. My roll that I have for my brushes was a bad idea. It has strings on it. And she comes in every night and attacks that damn thing. Don't you, baby? When you all are in this close, it is hard to show you. What are you doing? Oh, she's going to the window. That I don't mind. It's hard to show you the palettes I'm working with. Anyway, you will notice we are back to being without the microphone. Or at least hopefully you noticed, because that microphone had some very it wasn't just here. I'm sure some of you have checked out some of the newest videos, and yeah, it had that funky, almost underwater sounding quality to it, no matter where I was using it. So it has been retired already. I will have to see what I can do about finding one that doesn't do that. I did like the fact that it canceled out a lot of the background sound, but it didn't particularly help. I don't think with the actual audio quality. I think it ended up just being too underwater sounding. I just didn't like that sound. So Hubs and I turned in some paperwork that will hopefully get us some help as we navigate post surgeries for him, post hospitalization, all of that. We've both got jury summons coming next. I should be able to get out of mine. We'll see. Having my son, being the only one who can stay home with my son, who cannot be left alone, seems to have helped in the last time I was called. So hopefully it will this time. Going into the Monteverde now. which I can't show you because the mirror would like blast you all out with light coming back against from the lamps into the camera. That would be unpleasant for everybody. Anyway, so we have to do that. We have to get out of that. I will take my son's documentation with me. My husband had to stay for the last trial. That he was summoned for. Yeah, I think we're about done with these wings. Just about. This is a rough general paper. It's a general art paper. It's not a specific type. I have pastel matte that I'm eventually going to attempt to work on. Likely the toucan that I feel like is going really well will get redone on, be the first thing I try to redo on the pastel matte. I'm kind of resisting going right to it now because I've got at least 3 other projects going. 4 other projects going. 5. 5. It's just like when I'm writing. I can't just have one thing going. I don't know if this case, if it's the ADHD. It's got to be because I get to that point where I'm feeling kind of bored. I started doing some of the witchy one on TikTok in little bits. I'm doing the leaves on there now because I'm getting tired of all the purple. I might end up finishing out the purple off camera because I'm pretty sure you guys are getting tired of it too. I mean, it's nothing but purple. All the purples. Purple upon purple upon purple. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Supposedly got enough sleep. I've actually been doing much better on sleep since Hubs has been home. That is probably no surprise. He's still working on getting his hours back up at work. We don't know if they're just still being cautious with him, or if him having to be away forced them to work some things out. Uneasy. I know, I'm not talking to you. Hi. No, 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 no. I love you, baby, but no. 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 Sit right there. You're fine. Sit right there. Sit right there. I know, I'm not talking to you. That's irritating, huh, baby? You want me to be talking to you? No. No, 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 no. She will try to eat the pencil sharpener, the erasers. She just tries to get into everything. She really does. I gotta say, it's probably the one thing you miss about the old way of me doing these. And you can't have the tape. Go. Stop. Kitten. Leave the erasers alone. Yeah. We've had her for 2 years now, which is also hard to believe. 2 years? Well, we'll have to wait and see if she keeps on growing. Let's see if she ends up being if she ends up having the, if she were not a Savannah cat, she'd be pretty much done growing right now. But she still has a lot of kittenish features, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. I had a cat that was, we think she was the runt of the litter, and she never lost her kittenish look, at least not around her face. Of course, she also stayed very small. I miss her dearly. I miss my baby. Her name was Rogue. Yeah, in case you didn't know, hasn't been for all my life, but at one point we started with Aurora Storm, and ever since we had her, she's gone now, we had her for a good 15 years, but ever since her, we have had X-Men themed kitties. And at this point, we have owned Wagner, Storm, Rogue. We briefly had Mystique. She died from feline leukemia. We had Yuriko. We got to a point where we were getting the villains, so we had Yuriko, Deathstrike, who also ended up eventually dying from feline leukemia. They were both strays. Well, most of our cats are strays. I don't think I've ever talked about how we get our freaking cats, which is bizarre, and it is quite possible that Siren has broken it. Anyway, we've also had Logan and Wagner. We've had Shadowcat. We've had Gambit. I had to think of all the cats that were in the house at the time. We've had, like I said, we've had Storm. So anyway, so yeah, we started naming all of our cats. We want to get a beast at some point, and Hubs would like a Xavier, although I think for that we would have to get one of those furless cats. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I like petting the fur. I would like to get a phoenix, and we would like to get a beast, Hank. Thing is they would all, well, they're all very specific types of cats that we would have to pick up. I don't know if we're going to ever find anything for Phoenix that will actually be Phoenix. I mean, orange cats do, like calicos, tend to be female. Orange cats tend to be male. Not always. You can find a female. They're not common. So, and it would have to be a really deep orange and a long hair to really fit the character, you know. Like I said, Xavier would have to be probably the hairless cats. And we think for Beast, a big gray Maine Coon. But that means specific kitties. Or something that's at least part Maine Coon. So I think only 2 cats eat lives. Strays. I can't say for sure if Lola was a stray. She was picked up from the pen. His mother. She's not sure that, obviously. She's been gone 4 or 5 years now when she was 17 when we got her. I mean, when she passed. So we'd had her for some time. Who was as un-Logan as a Logan cat can be. Logan being very assertive. A very assertive X-Men. You to be completely passive, Miss Siren, but you could have learned some lessons from that boy. Although you would have scared him. You would have scared him to death. Meanwhile, Yuriko, if she had survived, would have been a perfect companion for this little monster. Please stop eating my stuff. Anyway, so I can't say that this started back before we moved out here, but ever since we moved out here, ever since we've been out here in Georgia, however, which is where most of our cats came from, we came out here with, oh man, I don't remember. I know Aurora was with us in the car. She was fucking miserable. No, we had 2 other cats, and for some reason their names are escaping me. And then we had a dog. It was a fun trip in a car. Well, a car and a U-Haul. And anyway, but ever since we moved out here, our cats have all definitely been strays. We got Hubs found Rogue for me and tempted her into his car with a hamburger, a cheeseburger. Gambit, I think Gambit is the only one. No. Okay, so I think what happened was, I'm trying to remember how we got these cats because they came in a specific order. And essentially, at least before this little booger, when one cat died, another cat would show up at our doorstep. I mean, quite literally at our doorstep. My beloved Wagner died, and Gambit showed up. I think Shadowcat is the only one that didn't appear in that way. But Gambit showed up. And then after him, Shadowcat. I mean, these cats literally would show up on our doorstep. It just, it was kind of weird. I don't know. It was kind of weird. But yeah. So, and then after him, Shadowcat showed up. And then I'm thinking, I think we lost Aurora, and the first one to show up after Aurora was Yuriko. Although at that point we had also heard about another litter that we were thinking about adopting from. But Yuriko was abandoned by her mama. Now, we lived in an apartment complex. There were at least 3 apartments. I'm thinking. There were 2 apartments between us and the street. So we were in the back of all of that. And Yuriko, her mother had abandoned her, or something happened, but she was by herself. She had been left by herself. And my husband was out on the porch, and here's this kitten just screaming at the top of her lungs. We do not know if something happened to the mom, if the mom managed to moved her litter and just never came back. For Yuriko, they all probably would have been feline leukemia positive. So it's also possible the mother died from the disease. We just don't know. We just don't know. But anyway, so she's up there screaming, and I'm doing something else, and all of a sudden my husband rips out of the house, out of the apartment. And I'm like, what? Go out on the porch as he zooms on past the porch to go up front. And he comes back with this kitten who cannot be more than 2 weeks old, and probably less. Her eyes weren't open yet. She was so tiny. So tiny. And so we took her in and we fed her, and she became a little monster for a while. She actually made the move with us, and but she died when she was here. Okay. Anyway, After Yuriko, we got both Mystique and another kitten that we gave to my daughter. All of these kittens were feline leukemia positive, unfortunately. Feline leukemia, 9.9 times out of 10 is deadly. Some animals get to adulthood before it kicks in and does its thing. I have determined from the experience of having 3 of them, 2 who died in rapid succession, and the other one later, that we would have to surrender feline leukemia positive cats. I just can't go through that again with kitties. We had another short-term kitty, Dazzler, with us for a while. She actually joined our household the winter we moved here. That winter had gotten cold. She was pregnant. We took her in. She had 2 kittens. She had 3 kittens. One was stillborn. And another one died from failure to thrive. As near as we can tell, he had been eating and seemed to be doing well, and then just suddenly went downhill. It was strange. And Dazzler died. Well, the kittens died. Yuriko died from the feline leukemia finally deciding to kick in. And after Yuriko died, we got Siren. And we got Siren before her eyes had changed, but she was an older kitten. No, 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 no. It's like you heard your name, but you're not climbing on this stuff. You're not climbing on this stuff. Sit there. You have a little space. You have a little ledge. You can sit there. So we got Siren after Yuriko died. And Dazzler helped finish raising her as a mama. And her own kittens. It was right after her kittens were gone. And we didn't realize initially how young Siren was. We didn't give her bottles and things, and we probably should have. But, and then we think Dazzler had a stroke or something. She had had a clean bill of health, no disease, no problems, and then one day all of a sudden she couldn't walk, and a few days later she was gone. It was terrible. Anyway, so for a while there, we'd have one cat die and a new cat come in. After Dazzler passed, there actually was a stray that we were thinking about trying to bring in. And little Siren, who was maybe 2 or 3 months old by that time, maybe, attacked this nearly full-grown cat for being in her house. So Siren may have broken the whole thing about getting new cats when strays move in. Because she's a monster. Because she crazy. She really is the wildest cat we've ever owned. Just nuts. She parkours off of things. I mean, seriously, she does. If I wake up in the middle of the night now, nine times out of 10 it's her wanting something, bouncing off of me to get up on the cat tree that's next to our bed, wanting to play at 3 in the morning. She will bring me her mice at 3 in the morning. She is such a wild baby. She seriously is. I have never had a cat as intense and as demanding as she is. It is just, she is a whole new world, I'm telling you. And I don't even know how I stumbled on that she might be part Savannah. I don't think anybody suggested it to me. I may have run into it, a photo of a Savannah, and realized she looked very similar, and looked up their behaviors and went, oh my God. But I can't imagine anyone putting a Savannah out of their home. She can't be a purebred, for one. If she is, there's certain parts of her characteristics that don't match the breed quite right. They definitely look like they came from a different type of cat, so to speak. But yeah, I read how they are, and I just went, this is Siren. Thing is, the only way to know for sure is genetic testing, and I'm not doing that. She may be a $5,000 cat. It doesn't matter whether she is or not. She's our newest baby. And we are all having to do quite a bit of adjusting to her because she's crazy. She's crazy. But we love her. We love her. And I know this story seems kind of sad because every time we've gotten a cat, another cat has died. But I gotta tell you, I've had cats since I was little. And yes, I'm still sad about some losses, particularly. They grieve me to lose the kitties. But I'm also well aware, you know, having had kitties since I was... My mom has always had cats, so quite young. I am very aware that at 60, none of my cats would be here anyway. It's just, I think the ones that hit me the hardest, well, first of all, were my two heart babies. Rogue and Wagner were my two heart babies. But then also the kittens dying from the FELV was hard. which is why we will never, I can't do that again. I can't. The only problem there I can see is that, you know, taking a cat in, finding out it has got FELV, and then needing to surrender it, but them not, whoever, not taking it or not having an option of a place that can take it. No matter how hard I say that, you know, I've done this, I can't do it again. Anyway, I am going to finish. Hi, birdie. I am finishing this cleanup, and then we're going to get out of here. We are not yet done, but we're getting close. I got a lot of lining to do. I got more detailing to do, but we're getting there. Hopefully next session, we can move on to something else. I'm pretty sure Michelle will miss the bird. Isn't that right, Michelle? You're going to miss the bird when it's done. But I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on. So, I hope you enjoyed watching today. I hope you will do the YouTube-y things. Like and subscribe. I have to go pretty hard with this. Share. But it does a pretty good job. Not perfect, but it'll make the paper better for when I put the white over it. Anyway, do all those YouTube-y things. We'd appreciate it. We'd appreciate it. Gotta clean up some of the smooch before we go. Yeah. Gonna need to use the white anyway. Not unexpected, but that cleans up much better than I thought it would. This stuff is supposed to clean up like pen and paint and shit. I guess makeup is just a bit more persistent. So there's how she's looking so far. Yeah? I gotta do all the hatch work. I got some more lining work to do there. I gotta do more of the feather markings down here. I need to finish the tail. But most of this area is done. I just gotta finish in here, basically. A little bit more, like I said, in the lining and then the tail. We are almost there, folks. So, like I said, I hope you will go ahead, like, share, subscribe, comment down below what you think. I'd appreciate hearing it. And I hope you have a good one, and we shall see you later. Bye.